Hello, have a pleasant day. Today's class is Valuation of Shares. I'm Dr. Srimati from Dr. Ambedkar Global Law Institute, Tirupati. Let us start with an introduction. I think in the previous videos, particularly in advanced accounting videos, I posted what is shares and different types of shares and difference between preference shares and equity shares like. So if you want, you can have it and I'll give you the link in the description. And today's class is valuation of shares, right? The stock exchange price of any share may not always be warranted by the financial position of the company. So we know this well. So because stock exchange prices are influenced by the supply and demand, and then bank rates, taxations, then political influences, international political situations, etc. Like now, the war between the two countries also affects the stock exchange. So here we can say that the shares of a public limited companies, but also the shares of a private limited companies and the unquoted shares of public companies need for certain valuation. So let us start with the shares of public limited companies, what to do with the and what is about the shares of public limited company is. The shares of a public companies are freely transferable. Everyone knows. So their valuation is absolutely necessary for buying and selling. So here the shares of public limited companies are quoted in the stock exchange. So the prices quoted in the stock exchange usually serve as a basis for the valuation of shares. So everyone, that is this type method or this method is useful and it all good for ordinary transaction, that means a small lots. But in case of a lot, then we need the valuation of shares. All the shares are not quoted in the stock exchange. Shares in private limited companies. So the share of private limited companies are not freely purchased and sold, since it is about restricted ownership. So even though they are not freely transferable, the valuation is required when the private company is to be sold or purchased. Further, to access the amount due to the member of the private company, the valuation of share is to be taken up. So all these things should be done clearly. And the next one is need for valuation of shares. So first one is the stock exchange price, which has not been warranted. In the introduction itself, I said because of the based on the prices, we cannot expect the exact or true value of the shares. So market price of the share is available when there is about prices which has not been available. Then we need to calculate our own value of shares. Then company which has not been listed in Securities Exchange Board of India, then that company has to value their own shares. Then market price does not reflect the true value of shares. It is absolutely right because it affected with a number of factors. So the company, it is better to have their own valuation of shares, or the investors, they may try to have their own valuation about the shares. When the shareholder dies, for the purpose of accessing estate duty, one has to value the shares. And then in case when the shares are given as a gift for the purpose of accessing gift tax. And then when there is about a conversion of shares with a different class of shares, then they want to know what is the value of the share. And the next one, for the accounting point of view, there is an accountant usually finds the need for valuation of shares in case of formulating amalgamation and absorption. And for purchase and sale of shares, in case of controlling of shares, that is controlling of management, particularly at the time of holding and subsidiary companies accounts. And then for reconstruction schemes, the reconstruction scheme, again, it can be stated as internal reconstruction or external reconstruction. All these cases, the person, that is the accountant, wants to know what is the exact value of the shares based on the assets. And then for estate duty purpose, to pay the taxes. And then for pledging shares as a securities against the loans. And then when the shares are acquired by the government, when it has been purchased by the government, then they want to know what is the exact value of the shares. And then there are different factors affecting the value of shares. So profitability of the concern. Every business, it has their own profitable ratio. So based on the profitability, the kind of value of the shares differs. Then demand and supply of shares in the market, that also determines the value of the shares. Then yield expected by the investors, that is the return, how much they are expecting from the company. Based on that, it is about value of shares changes. And political, economic, and social conditions prevailing within and outside the government, that is plays a critical role in case of stock exchange market, so that it can increase or decrease the value of the shares. And government policies, so different governments, different political parties, one who are ruling the government, have their own policies, and that also affects the value of the shares. Nature of the business, it is important that based on that the value of share differs. And then reserves of the company's policies, so when the company have the policy to make a good reserves for the future, then the value of the shares changes. And then rate of proposed dividend which has been declared by the company also affects the value of the shares. And then availability of sufficient fixed assets over the outside liabilities determines exactly what is the value of shares in a company. And finally, it is not the least, the book value of the shares, how much they paid, and it has been maintained in the register, that also determines, and it also affects the value of the shares. Stay tuned for the next. Bye from Srimati. Thank you.